In this video, I'm going to share with you what winter camping cook kit to use. One of my subscribers in my video, Best 8 Winter Camping Tips, Kyla Kurtz, hopefully I'm not messing up your name there, Kayla Kurtz, sorry. Kayla asked, what is the yellow thing around your cook pot? Good question you're going to learn in this video. And also, Alaska Raft Connection, Alaska-Bush Rafter actually gave a good long explanation about this, talking about this whole camping experience. So thank you very much to Kayla Kurtz, and also Alaska Raft Connection, Alaska Bush Rafters. Say that 3 times as fast. I commend you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to point the camera down and show you my entire cook kit, what I use in Antarctica, the Arctic, Denali, wherever I'm going when it's super cold and wintry. I'll explain all the different items and the issues with them. Here's my cook kit in a bag and all the different sundry items that I'm going to explain to you. I also talk about this in my book, Adventure Expedition 1, available in print and ebook. Stoves, yes, stoves, cooking, white gas stoves, stove safety, all in here. So check out links in the description. It's super handy. First thing, I'm going to take apart my cook kit and show you everything that's in there and then what the other items are in here. I always keep my cook kit in a bag. It makes it much easier. The MSR bag has, as you've seen, definitely needs some sewing, but I have the MSR Mountain Safety Research 2-liter pot. This thing has been a lot of places in the world. It's still survived. It's got one ding here. Titanium, love it. In here you can see this is my complete cook kit. I've got my stove, heat exchanger, pump, and I think I put everything else outside. But these are the critical gut items of this kit. They all fit in here so they're protected. Most importantly, this pump is super, and say delicate, but it's important to be aware of. So my cook kit starts as this big pile of mess, and what Kayla had asked for is what is this yellow thing around the pot? And this is the MSR heat exchanger. What this guy does is when this pot is on the stove, I'll fold out the stove, the Msrxgk Stove is totally awesome. It runs the fuel line through the flame. I know that sounds insane, but check out my link to the video about this thing. Totally works. But what I do is I get my pot set up, and normally I have some sort of aluminum plate or a turkey baster pan or something to set the stove on for a couple reasons. One, if something goes terribly wrong, I can always pick this up and throw it out. And two, this prevents my stove from melting into the snow. Even though I love my MSR Trillium stand here, that if I can flip it open here, it totally hooks onto the stand. It is lightweight, but one problem with this Trillium stand is that the heat actually will start to melt. The aluminum gets hot and starts to melt and shift around. It's not as good as a plain plate of aluminum. Just a super inexpensive baster pan works. So this XGK stove is a total ticket. The other part of the stove is this pump. You need to have a pump because you're going to use white gas. You will not be using canister stoves on a long expedition. It just doesn't happen. Make sure, of course, you have a proper fuel bottle. I like the old school caps, the new safety caps. I despise them. I do not need child safety when I'm on a mountain at 17,000 feet. Just not that useful. Pump, fuel bottle. Well, we're not going to do this at the moment, but I get the fuel in there, seal that guy up, pump it up a bunch of times, get it hooked up to the stove, and get going, get my pot on there, and get my lid. Of course, I've got my water and snow in there, and I'm ready to go. This is my basic cook kit that keeps me going for multiple months. How do I light my stove? I honestly prefer flint and steel. No altitude problems, like 0 altitude problems, 0 cold problems. If it's super cold, what I'll do is I'll put my water bottle in my fuel bottle in my jacket. It's not comfortable, but it warms up. If I'm sparking and I still cannot get my stove to light and I'm struggling with it, what I will do is, and here's my pot holder, super handy, critical. If you lose this, you won't be able to pick up your pot. But literally what I'll do is I will splash a little bit of fuel on here. Hand sanitizer does not light. I get a little bit of fuel on the diffuser and then just simply spark it. See if we can spark it here. Until it lights and no problem. As you can see, this is well used, has months and months and months on it. No problems with altitude whatsoever. I use a titanium spork. I do not use plastic or Lexan. I've had those fail on me. Trust me, get a metal spoon, not a hinged spoon. They will flop open at the worst time. Get a regular straight up titanium spoon that is very stiff because it can also be a tool. Also, part of my cook kit is a backup striker because you never know what will happen. Also, part of my kit is a little green scrubby so I can scrub the pot out, and I have some backup matches if everything goes terribly wrong. So that is a key part of this. You can also use like this Bear Grylls Gerber striker job. I mean, I don't think, let's see. Yeah, there we go. Takes a while to get the junk off to strike, but I mean that's definitely an option. I like these guys. They're a little bit lighter, and I tend to get a better spark out of them. Definitely getting going there. Also part of my cook kit, toilet paper. I use toilet paper obviously for other things, but this allows me to clean out my pot and completely dry it. Did I mention the MSR Full Field Expedition Repair Kit? You must have one of these. Trust me, bring it. If you don't and you kill your stove, you're going to be in a world of hurt. On an extra long expedition, I bring a second stove. I literally bring a second stove because if my stove dies, I die. I also have a second pump. I have a backup pump. Especially in Denali, I had one of my climbing friends. His pump failed and he had to kind of suffer there. I let him use my stove and things, but boy, oh boy, that was not enjoyable. And a first aid kit. Because you're handling hot steel, hot aluminum, hot everything, make sure you have a first aid kit so you can avoid any trouble there. And I think that's it. So definitely cook kit, super handy. This heat exchanger, yeah, the heat exchanger, so some people argue it doesn't work. Well, oh shoot, I forgot one thing, sorry. I knew I was forgetting something, my mistake, sorry about that. The windscreen, the all-critical windscreen. You need to have the windscreen on here, and you want to get this thing wrapped as tightly as possible around here. Don't worry, oxygen will flow in this port, but you get this wrapped around the pot, and the heat exchanger, what the heat will do is the hot gases and air, or the cold air flows in here, goes through, and then the hot air, the flames hit the bottom of the pot, and then that hot air comes up along the side of the heat exchanger, gives this greater thermal mass, and it reduces the rapid fluctuations in heat. So it gives it a little bit better thermal mass to reduce those wild changes. But this little heat exchanger works incredibly well. Alaska Bushcrafter, he was worried, whoever she was worried about the sharp corners. All I do is just fold over the little corners so I don't stab myself. I will show you super close here. Just fold over the corners. The edges are not sharp at all. I've never had a problem, but I do fold over the corners. This stuff is easy to handle. It does not conduct that much heat at all, so I really don't have too much trouble with it. But yeah, I totally forgot this. And this windscreen is super critical even when you're cooking in your vestibule. I know you're not supposed to cook in your vestibule. Trust me, when it's like -10 degrees or -12 degrees Celsius, it is freezing, it is storming outside. You'll be cooking in your vestibule just make sure to unzip the vestibule so you do not get carbon monoxide. I don't want that happening to you. So this complete kit allows me to cook, and then I simply open my lid, pop it open, choom, pour out the water, get this thing back on the stove, get some more ice in there, and hopefully don't tip it over. And that's it. That is what my winter camping cook kit looks like. Say that 3 times as fast. Again, check it out in the ebook or in the print book. Links below. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and professional adventurer. Please check out links in the description to my books, Antarctic Tears, Lost at Windy Corner, Adventure Expedition 1, How to Keep Your Feet Warm in the Cold, the Jackson Hole Hiking Guide, the Most Crucial Knots to Know, and the 2024 Total Eclipse Guides, as well as check out my shows, Antarctic Tears and World Beyond. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you can check out more of this stuff so you can have fun in the outdoors.